Hey guys, Mike from Cornwall, good day. Bill, hello. Good evening. Beanie's a bit tight, yeah. The only thing that's a bit tight, I reckon. But anyway, we're doing okay. It is some sort of personal protection. Who else is there? JB, g'day. Peter Nonnell, g'day. Stuart Hingston, hello. Jim Minnick, hello. Fridge, g'day. Dan Shed. Stephen Lang. G'day and happy birthday, I think for yesterday, was it? Didn't get to send you a message, and I'm sorry about that, but we'll say happy birthday to Stephen. Russ Knox, g'day. Last video, I must have been mentioned this week. Very excellent. Really enjoyed that. Russell Dole, g'day. Mark Osborne. Nigel Wells, hello. Welcome. I haven't achieved much, to be honest. There's not very much happening. A whole lot of very little, actually. It's freezing cold. Felt like it was Canberra this morning. I felt like I was caught in a snowstorm. Went out and got doused in sleet at about 7 a.m. Really wasn't much fun. But for the Gold Coast, that's a bit unusual. But anyway, it was cold. Hey, Craig. Yeah, so it's a bit cold, and I come home today. I had an absolute stinker of a day at work. If anything could have possibly gone wrong, it did. I mean, we worked through and we fixed everything, but it's one of those days where everything was a little bit more complicated than it should have been. So we got there. But didn't get home till 6:30. Yeah, I've still got to go and do something about programming a remote to operate the gate out the front. So I've got one there. No matter of going and opening the board and dialing it in, which isn't a big deal. I'll do that in a minute after live stream. Have some dinner. Dennis, g'day. Good to see you. Mostly it's pretty swimmingly smooth actually. Works pretty swimmingly smooth, but Sarah and my own today, and we had some real headaches this week. And of course, Sam's got exams. He's studying dentistry, and it's his exam week, so I didn't really want to disturb him. So poor old Fab ended up dealing with most of my issues. But anyway, appreciate I dealt with my fair share of his too. So anyway, we sorted. Aaron, g'day. So, I spent the weekend. What did I do on the weekend? Oh, what did I do on the weekend? I got the mill going. Sort of. Almost got the mill going. Let's have a look at the mill. That's really the answer. We'll have a look. Okay. So mill's all up and running. I've actually done a couple of little jobs on it. Haven't got this switch working yet because I can't find a actual manual for this VFD. I haven't got a clue where it is. And I found two manuals, both for the lathe, one of which was obsolete because I've swapped the VFD over. And the other one's a current one. However, there's a book here somewhere for this mill and I can't find that either. So no idea where it is. Go easy on Rusty Knox's hair. It looks good. I think. It gives a man character. So this switch here, I want to reverse. Right. Forward and reverse selection on the VFD. It shouldn't be that difficult. And the book that I had told you which holes and parameters to dial and hook into. But it didn't work. So we've got the wrong book, obviously. Apart from that, the mill's going. We've got a little bit of belt noise there, which means that it's not quite tension tight enough, that knock. Anyway. Pretty pleased about that. We've hooked the VFD, the DRO up. So many acronyms. So we've got this works too. So that was Sunday and Monday's job. It's all sorted. So I've got laid in the mill. I really need to get in and make a table lift for this mill. I've got all the bits and I made a start on it. I need to have another go at it. So that's one project amongst thousands that might have to come up a little bit more. But it's a bit of a pain without it. It's already made a bit of a mess, but I've got a vacuum cleaner. So we made a little pin and I'll show you what for in a minute. What's the white piece to the right of the table? Hey, Paul. The white piece to the right of the table is a cover on the DRO slide. Rather than put the DRO slide behind the table and lose a little bit of Z feed or a little bit of this feed on here, I put it out the end there and it works quite well. So that's good. Hey, Kevin. So that's sorted. A bit of a look around. This bench is absolute chaos still. Haven't bolted the shaper down. That's next. John gets his set of parallels there that I use pretty much all of the time. Set of collets for the launch. Couple of table screws there if anyone wants to make an expanding or drop leaf table or something. They're not very long ones, but they might make a nice little occasional table or something. Hit me up. Absolutely. And the rest of this is pretty much chaos, actually. The D-bit grinder did get a bit of use on the weekend. Haven't even looked at that lathe. My phone's plugged in, charging now. I've got some lathe tools out. This tab bench needs some crazy cleaning. We'll have a look at that in a minute, Craig. I really need to finish this attachment on here. It's a bit of a job. It's up and running, but it's not ideal as yet. And it's just ongoing work. It's just ongoing stuff. As you can see up there, there's all those cardboard boxes that haven't yet been stacked away, so we're getting there. My I need a multimeter to do it. Now, my fluke meter, right? It's not an expensive fluke meter. It's a Chinese one. It's 18B. It's not a bad meter. Right? However, when to turn on the batteries, it's not that old, but the batteries have basically gone flat and leaked. So I'm going to need either A new one of these connections here, where it's broken, or B, to do a solder job on it, which I really don't want to because you get worse corrosion that way than anyway. Or C, a new door for it. That's what I need. So I'm going to have a look for that. It's not going to happen yet because fluke stuff's expensive, but I could have used that this week. Bit of vinegar to clean up the corrosion would be a good start, yeah. No luck with the BFD reversing. Haven't found the manual yet. I think it's doable, and I don't think it's particularly difficult. And I even went to the trouble of screwing the reversing switch up. It's about chopped out, that reversing switch, and probably I need to pull it apart and dress everything up and make it so it works again, and probably find some new contacts for it. But we'll see how we go with that. Not sure there is a warranty on that machine. It's not sold in Australia. It's a Chinese market model. So it's grey market. Not sure about that. Anthony, g'day. How's the surplus machine situation up your way? Yeah, I might hit him up for it. We'll see how we go with that fluke multimeter. I haven't looked at it yet. There's other things to settle before we deal with that. Another thing is, at some point, my machinist calculator has been stepped on. It's got a broken LCD, so not particularly happy about that either, and really don't want to buy a new one. It's all right for a bit, but it's had a rough life. Not happy about that. I think it had a machine dropped on it or something. I'm not sure. This nice knife was made by Bill Baggins. I don't know if he makes them commercially. He tends to swap favours and things for them, and that's pretty awesome. I still haven't got out of him how much it was, but it's really nice knife Bill makes. And if you're looking for a custom knife to do a job, hit up Bill Baggins. If you can't find him, he's in Discord. He's usually in the Discord channel. Anyway, the other issue, which I spent several hours messing around on, is this. Right? I don't know if we talked about this before, but this is a K-type Sturmey Archer hub. Sturmey Archer made hubs from 1920s, probably earlier, 3-speed hubs, and they're excellent. They made all sorts of hubs, actually. They made bike hubs, front hubs, and brake hubs, and drum hubs, and 3-speed and 4-speed and 2-speed hubs, and integral brake hubs, and free-wheel hubs, all sorts of things. However, in about 1943 or something, probably about before the war, they swapped to the AW model from the K series. So there are a lot of bits inside them that are different. AWs are pretty common. this is an AW and it's complete and it's ready to go. Put that straight on a bike. It's even got the right number of holes for my bike. However, it's an AW, not a K. So this one here is about 1931, something like that. This one here is date stamp 1969. That's all right too, but on my bike, this is 1931 Gazelle, I'd really like, if I'm going to put the effort into it, to have everything concours and right time period. So I'd like to get this one up and running. Not a big deal. Don't know if anyone's really interested in bike hubs, but I did machine the flanges off it, and I've brazed new flanges with the right number of holes on them. All right. And I'm fairly pleased with that, actually. And I'll probably Cerakote this or something that's easy to clean and doesn't need polishing or anything. I could chrome it, but I think we're going to do that, and then that'll last forever. Now, there are quite a lot of differences between this one and this one. A lot. This one hasn't got an oil hole in the end, whereas this one's got an actual oil hole in there for filling it. It's got another one in the end here. This one's got a left-hand thread in one end. I don't believe that this one does. And this one's got a much more sensible system than this, which was a problem. These broke. So I think that'll be all right, and I think it'll be a good job. Because nearly all of these you find are off English bikes, and they've got 40-spoke wheels, right? Which is all right, but Dutch bikes only had 28s, or only had 36-spoke wheels. So with 4 holes too many. So anyway, that's fixed. But this is the problem. No, I don't know, this is pretty lousy, sorry. I'll change that, make it all seasick. This piece here screws in there. Or it's supposed to, right? It's got a little piece of thread on the end, which is actually in this die, if you have a look. Which threads in here, and that's got a screwdriver in and a slot in the end of it, and that's what adjusts it in and out. That adjusts your depth across your 3 stages in your planetary hub. So generally these get broken because all the load really is on this little piece of the pulling mechanism here. It's got this end pulls up against here, which is big enough not to go through the hole, and this end's got a spring on it up against here to give you some sort of cushioning. But that's what moves it when you change gear. It allows it to engage before it pulls it back in, and that's what the spring's for. But this thread's broken off here. Sorry, it's cold here too. I've got 7/16 inch 16th thread there. Now, I thought it was Whitworth, and I did actually at some point buy a Whitworth die, and that screws in there. And I've got a Whitworth tap which screws another end, and Whitworth would do probably. However, putting a thread 7/16 long on a 16th rod with a button die is pretty miserable. Hey, Randy. It's really not a fun sort of. Hey, Rob. Not a fun job. So I suspect that these were probably done in the factory with a thread roller, which is for a bicycle spoke thread roller, which these guys would have had everywhere. And that makes it 1/16 or 16 gauge, 57 TPI, which I'm suspicious that's what it actually is. So got to make one of these, get a thread rolled on it and see if it actually screws in the hole. If it screws in the hole, we're set. It's down to about 12 actually tonight. I'm really not impressed. So, this thing's mildly crazy complicated, but it's all good. This spins on here, right? And freewheels, but this doesn't, because this pin goes through this slot in here and moves backwards and forwards to change gear, right? And that has a hole in it, that there, which this rod goes through, and with a spring in front of it and locked on the other side to pull it in and out of gear. So it's kind of a complicated thing. So I probably have a beanie somewhere. I haven't quite got to the beanie stage yet, but anyway, probably have a beanie I knitted myself. It's probably got some fancy stitches in it too. I really used to be very good. So this is sort of like a dog clutch, right? This is really a spline, I guess, rather than a dog clutch. When it's right out in third gear, then it freewheels. Otherwise, for the other two, it's on this spline. This has a planetary in it like this, you see. When these lock together, that gives you, your final drive gives you an extra, gives you one gear. And when it's free wheels, then it gives you another gear. And when the whole lot's locked onto the shaft, that gives you the third gear. So that's sort of how it works. It's not a very robust mechanism, but they work, and they work reliably, and they still work reliably 100 years later, and they're still being made. However, this one had some issues. So I made a new pin there because that pin was completely destroyed where this was bent. Someone must have had trouble getting that out, or at some point they've done a job on it. And when I went to get it out, it was just a mess. So made that in the mill, drilled a hole in the middle of it, made it the right length, all that stuff. Spare room beanie and spare room stubby holder. Well, there's no pressure on it really, because all it does is select your 3 gears. So all it does is move this carriage across, basically, or move this part across. So it meshes in there, or if it goes to the third gear, then it meshes on the other end. So not much to it. There's also a freewheel or a reversing freewheel in the other end. With a clutch. So it's quite a solid ratchet. But the locking's all done on this spline, so they're pretty solid, really. And none of it can fall apart or anything. So that's the project, is to get this tin full of junk, which are mostly K-type Stemiauchi parts, all back together and complete and wrapped up, and we can move on to something else. We can put that box away and say that that's no longer a tin of stuff that's sitting around needing something done with it. That's what I'm trying to do. So anyway, it's one of those things that require some messing around, and you can't get bits for them, so we're going to have to make something. I'll go and find someone I've got a friend actually who's got a spoke roller who's going to try and put a 57 thread 16 gauge thread on a spoke and see if it screws in. And if it does, we'll go that way. Anyway, that's what I'm messing around with. This stupid female who I sold the film to. Yes, they do, if you want to spend enough money. At the moment, I've got... Anthony, at the moment, I've just got fairly standards on it. They're 28 inch, so 28 inch by 1.5 inches, which is a pretty odd size this day and age. They're pretty big wheels, actually, being a Dutchie. It's a fairly tall bike, like it really is. It's a whole lot taller. It's probably a foot taller than my Mongoose. So it's quite a big bike. Fairly upright. So I've got two old stock rims that could do with some chrome plate. I think I'm going to chrome a lot of it rather than nickel it, which means someone else will have to do it, but it's a bit of a job. And I've got tyres and tubes for them. I haven't got spokes yet. Don't expect miracles out of this very soon, but at some point we might get some of these bits back together. And I'd really like to get like natural rubber or honey-coloured tyres to put on it, but we'll see how we go. Long way down the track. Waz's not in tonight. Wazza starts night shift, so think about Warren on night shift. I think he's getting double time, so he's really not complaining very much, but he messaged me to say he was going on night shift, so that's fun. What else? Oh, this stupid broad that bought that expired film off me returned it, and I have it here now. All the boxes have been opened and they've got masking tape stuck up all around them, and she obviously thinks they're sealed up good enough to get a return on it. But I'm probably going to give her her money back and then abuse the crap out of her and really don't care. But I will probably read her pedigree. Anyway, I'm getting over that slowly, but it's certainly knocked me about a bit. What else? You can't see that anyway. Yeah, I hope. Sorry, guys. Still can't see it, even if I zoom in. Anyway, the subscriber count has jumped to 730 tonight. There we go. Thanks everyone who subscribed. I really appreciate that. Really not sure whether you're going to get your money's worth, but thanks heaps for that. And while you're in the mood for subscribing, all these guys, that one in particular, Russ Knox and Aaron and Craig, Active Atom are probably watching somewhere. Build Something Cool could be if he's up. Cam at Batley, check him out. Go Create. Matty's Workshop, haven't seen Matty for a bit. Hope he's all right. The Eddies, check him out. Pretty cool channel. He collects Triumph Tridents, which means that it means that he keeps Triumph Tridents. He has boxes of bits that he carries around from place to place. That's sort of how Triumph Trident collectors work. Solid Rock Machine Shop. Where's How? Check him out. Awesome guy. Justin there at Forger at Good of the Land. Turn Right Machine Works. Keith Fenner. Awesome guy. Max at Swan Valley. If you're in Australia, have a look at Man Cave Metals. They sell small lengths of metal and stuff. He's really helpful. He's pretty good. Aid, check him out. Valley Forge Welding, you should have a look at him. The Air Cave Shop. 1970 Chevelle 396. Awesome guy, good travel channel too. Really like him. Machine NZ, he's here on the channel. You should go and check him out. And Paul up there at Nackler's Workshops just moved into a new workshop. That's really awesome. Looks great, Paul. I'm really enjoying that series. Who else? Alistair. Adventures with a Very Small Lathe. There's the red sticker. JB's here. But Andy Bear's Shed's not here. He's probably in bed. Gem Trek, he's not here either. He should be. Check out Prezzo, Steve Summers, Tom Lipton, Stuart Hart. He's got an awesome channel. Tom Zlickman at Inspiration Metalworks. Brad Jacob, which is Maple Lane Machine Tool and Basement Shop Guy. And me, thanks for the subscriptions, guys. Randy, John Saunders, and the old style sticker from Dale Derry, Backyard Machine Shop. Scott Tyndall, he's probably here watching too. Check him out. So you should do that. Subscribe to me, you'll get much better results out of those guys, to be honest. They make good stuff. Um, 3D printed frog. Solid rock boring bar that I'm struggling to get inserts for, but I've found a metric equivalent, and I think we might be onto something there. That's why they're out. Some high-speed steel. There's a 123 block. There's 3. Gosh, I've got a lot of junk. This is all sort of being put away and half being used, so we're getting there with this. Just goes on for miles. But anyone who isn't convinced that I've got a lot of junk yet obviously hasn't been watching the last little while. That's the trouble, Bill. It takes 5 years to watch everyone. What else? Don't know, really. Don't know if there is a whole lot else. But most things are put away, and most things have a home, I think. It's not particularly well documented or particularly easy to find anything, but we do have things that we've put away. Hey, Stephen Dean. Congrats, Aaron. That's awesome. So, what else? What else should we do? The film lady story. Yeah. She bought some expired film, and it's all 10 years out of date, of course. So some of it's 7 years out, some of it's 10 years. It's all still in boxes, all sealed up. And I sold it to her cheap, right? Well, I think it's a pretty good price for expired film. And you never know what you're going to get. Expired film's fun, and I used to shoot a lot of expired film because you get some pretty cool features, and you get some fun effects, and you don't know what you're going to find. Really, it's half the fun. So I advertised this box of film, and it was, well, there was probably 6 or 7 boxes, I guess, and they were all expired. And I put expiry dates and pictures of the labels so everyone could see, and etc., and they weren't open. And she got in touch and said, well, will you post it? And against my better judgment, I said, well, yeah, okay, I'll post it. And she says, well, I don't want this, and I don't want this, and I don't want this. I only want this one and this one and this one. And she says, well, yeah, well, I'll take all that. What do you? And I sort of agreed on a price as sort of about $1 a sheet or something. As some sort of comparison, a box of this stuff now in 5x4, there's 46 left. I think there's a few less because I think she's used some, but we'll get to that. A box of that's about 150 sheets, is probably 150, 160 euro. A box of this, I think, is 93 euro or something. You can get this out of Germany or out of Eastern Bloc countries. About 97 euro for 25 sheets. So she got them for about $1 a sheet, which is quarter of the price or a bit less. And that's all right. Don't mind doing that. I had a couple of, I've got a box of film holders. I thought, well, she can have a couple of them. I'll sort through them and find some nice ones. Oops, just dropped that one. And I'll throw a couple of them in for her. I don't mind doing that. So she's getting her money's worth. And I packed it all up and took it to work. And of course, it was crazy busy. That was not last Wednesday, but the one before. It was probably Thursday, actually. It was manic busy, and I never had time to go to the post office and post a parcel. So I messaged her and said, hey, look, sorry, I haven't made it today. I'll get to it tomorrow. And she got really upset. She really, really got upset. And she messaged me 3 times the next day to ask if I'd sent it. So when I finally did sort of send it, I should have given her money back then. But when I did send it, I sent her a tracking mode and all that sort of stuff. I didn't say I put some film holders and stuff. Anyway, she got back to me on Monday with a note saying, hey, look, I peeled a couple of sheets out of each of these boxes and I don't think they're been stored correctly. I really don't think it's very good film. It's not as nice as I would like. Where do we go from here? So I said, you've got a couple of options. I said, if you want your money back, pull the lot out now and destroy it, send me pictures of it, and I'll give you a refund now. That's easy. Oh, no, don't be so hasty. We don't want to waste it. It'd be a pity to do that. What if I shoot a couple of sheets and expose it, and we'll see how it looks then? So I didn't say anything to that. I just let it be. 2 days later, she comes back with some scans and says, well, this has got a few spots here and there's some inclusions here, and I'm not sure this is processing because I processed some other different film exactly the same the other day and I never had problems like this. So it's absolutely probably processing issues because it's a different film and it requires different chemicals and different times, etc., etc., etc. And it looked like to me like it was probably stop bath or wash issues, but what do I know? I haven't done that for years. So anyway, I'm like, well, you've opened it now. I'm reluctant to give you money back unless you send it back all sealed the same way as you got it. Anyway, she sent it back and it's not all sealed the same way as she got it because these were all new boxes. And they're all stuck up with masking tape or some sort of duct tape or something. Right? They've obviously all been open. They've all got a couple of sheets out of them. And she obviously thought that was the smart thing to do. So, of course, the old listing was nothing, not even close to what she actually bought. So I just deleted the old listing because I wouldn't be bothered. And then, of course, I can't correspond with her. So then she got on PayPal and said, well, what do we do? And I said, well, look, you've bought expired film with full knowledge that it was expired film, and you're a film photographer, so you know what's happening if it is expired film. I am not going to compensate you for your lack of experience or your failure to make the right choice. And so, sorry, you can luck out. So she took it straight to PayPal, and getting upset because she messaged me, and she sent it back, and then she's messaging me every 10 minutes asking me if I've received it, because it was supposed to be delivered to my post office box on Monday, which it probably was, but I wasn't there on Monday. I'm not going to make a special trip to my post office box. I'm not sitting around waiting to hear her message so I can give her her money back on the boxes of film that she's already opened and used. So I guess PayPal will pick in her favour, but my thought tonight is to go upstairs and to open a claim and say, hey, look, she's already opened this and used half of it. I'm really reluctant to give her her money back. I'll give her a partial settlement, but I'm not going to give her all of it. Anyway, that's where we are with the film lady. Not very impressed. And seriously, go and buy new film if you want to shoot new film. And if you're that precious about it and your hobby, well, maybe you should find something else to do. Shopper Critique, g'day. Did Dan the neighbour have an accident? No, Dan's gone to watch the footy, so he's been gone since before 8. Anyway, I'm less impressed than I could be about that, and I really don't feel very much like giving her all the money back. But I'm sort of afraid that that's what my hand will be forced to do. So I'm probably better just to do it and say, here's your money back. You need some life lessons, and this is what I think of your pedigree, and take the money as a therapy session. Because I need the therapy too. So whether that's what happens, I don't know. Anyway, there we go. Got to give it a try, I guess, yeah. She seems very, very upset that she sent it back on Monday and it's still Wednesday, and I haven't really advanced it at any level. So I'm not really in any rush to give her her money back or decide on it. I already told her I wasn't going to, and then she just took it straight to PayPal. So that'll be the last time I list anything as for sale to be sent out, to be posted. It's just not going to happen. Anyway, that's where we're at. What else? Anyone who wants a project is welcome to come and pick one up and collect one. Fridge, I think, is turning up last week in July, something like that, and he's going back with several. He doesn't know yet, but there you go. Anyway, hey Tom, good to see you. Anyway, she said it's not as described, which, well, seriously, you got a list and you pick and choose through it. So you kind of got what you wanted. So I'm happy to post it to you, but don't hit me up the very next day when it arrives and says, I don't think I'm very happy with this. Anyway, if anyone saw Dan Shed say several with question marks, just ignore him because he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's got no idea. And we're best not to talk about that. But yes, he said he's taking stuff back. Anyone who also wants to turn up, had a mate here to grind some cutters for a Dean Smith and Grace restoration kit job. Yesterday, and he took back, he had his pockets full when he left. I'm kind of a bit inclined to fill your pockets up when you go. At the moment, I'm trying to get rid of stuff. Take care, Aaron. Good to see you. So I'm of two minds whether I bolt this shaper machine down or enjoy the bench space and put it underneath for a bit and not have it set up, or whether I do set it up or whether I move it on. I sort of feel like I don't really want to part with it. There we go. Probably I should just build another bench. That's the logical thing. But yeah, the sympathetic drive mod thing's the thing. I've got to live a bit longer though. That's the problem. And at this point, it's just I'm running out of time. I've got a Stewart 400 to get going, and I really want to get this bench cleared off and some of this crap put away so that I can bring that down here and put a carburetor on it. I'm not sure I have the right carburetor yet, but we're still looking. I've got a steam locomotive that I really want to get a bit of progress on. That's important. And yeah, they're the major projects that I want to get some actual progress done on. I don't have a lot of space. Paul says he'd keep the shaper. I probably would, but it's kind of a marketable thing, and if I did get rid of it, it would probably sort of half cover a vertical head for the mill, which is what I really want. Anyway, that's where I'm at, and I'd love a Syntec Mark III vertical head because that makes a pretty nice milling machine out of my mill. But hey, John's Workshop, good to see you. Steve is probably right. I don't think I'll ever find another one. And it's done a lot of good work, and I would probably, if it's set up, I'll use it because I do use it for finishing off little flat surfaces and trimming things up and that sort of thing. It does get quite a lot of use. It doesn't always get filmed, but quite often there's a 10-minute job you do with the shaper because it's the easiest and quickest way to do it. What else? What else? I've junk under this bench that I really don't know what to do with any of it. this is all junk basically. Let's have a look here. There's a box of electrical cord and flex, which is quite useful. There's an expanding file that's probably empty and could get tossed, or I could put it upstairs in the office. There's a lens profiling machine, which I bought because it was $7 with free postage, and honestly, I've got no use for it. There's a wave key cutting machine there in that box, Chinese, which I bought because it was cheap, and I still don't have a use for that either. The boxes underneath are mostly bike parts. There's a gramophone up the end. I don't know if you can see the gramophone. So that's a job too. There's not much wrong with the gramophone except the box is twisted a bit. You know, if we glued it up and cleaned it up, it'd probably run. The dinging thing is a bit of a pain, actually. Anyone who's texted me, stop dinging me. I'm ignoring it. It doesn't show up on the screen, but it's just going ding, ding, ding. Anyway. Bigger shop, we're getting rid of stuff. Yes, because even though I've got a bigger shop, I've still got no room for anything. Like, seriously. There's lots of copper bits there. Some of it's actually brass. You probably need to come up and fill your pockets up, Dan. Yeah, so it's just a matter of getting to the point that all the stuff's put away and it's got homes, and then I might think about stopping the downsize. But right now, it's a bit of an issue. This is another thing that I've got out to sort of do something with, and I might do it this next weekend or sometime when I've got time. It's probably not a huge job, but it's a bit of a pain like it is. Sorry about the focus. No, he didn't miss a thing, Russ Knox. This little Carter woodworking device, I would really like that on this bench, right? Because if you're filing up a little bit of brass or a bit of sheet or something like that, it's a really useful thing to have a wooden jaw vise. However, when you look at it, something's bent. See that taper in there? Don't do that. Don't do that. So, having a closer look at it, I think these pins here are probably bent. I thought they weren't cast in straight here, but when I have a look at it, they're bent about here somewhere. Someone's done it up way too tight and bent them. So I might have a go at straightening them. We'll see how we go with that. If I can straighten it out a bit, I'll put it on the bench. So you make a tapered front jaw is not really the answer, because when it's right out, it'll be a different taper to when it's right in, I think, because the bend's in a different spot. And that's kind of what I think anyway. I can make new guide pins, but they're actually cast in here. If you have a look, they're not screwed, they're cast in. And probably you could grind them off and mill them off and re-tap them nice and square and put screw new pins in, and that might be a good job too. We'll see what we go. But these are they're not very big. They're only... Oh, good question. They look to be 1/2 inch. So I don't expect precision, but I expect it to clamp something up fairly neat. Could make bigger rods. Probably all they've got to be square with this front face. So if I cut them off and set them up in the mill and drilled and tapped 2 holes, and then made a couple of new rods and screwed in there with a bit of Loctite, and hope that they lined up with these, if you probably could set that up reasonably accurately, and might be a half decent job. But anyway, we'll see. You could put 16s in them too, but yeah, maybe, we'll see. Yeah, I don't think this is of that quality, Craig. It's a Carter. It's not a particularly good vice to start with. I think if you upgraded it, like I say, but you've got to bore the whole lot then. But that's not a big deal either. If you clamp the 2 together, you could probably bore them in the mill without any issues at all. You just bore this one and this one, or this one and this one, and get them somewhere near in parallel. Then it wouldn't matter how close you were to centre. So might happen, yeah. Might happen. But it'd be really nice to have that little vice set up here. But a bit annoyed I got it sort of half stripped down and painted and went to put jaws in it and discovered that the jaws don't line up. They may not be. They're not either. This one's pointing down a bit on this end and the other one's either pointing up or... It's never been abused enough to bend this handle, which is a bit strange. They do slide pretty evenly and pretty nicely, so maybe they are. Let's have a look here. There's the problem. Look at that. They're definitely banana shaped. So, yeah, because I need a project. So it's not a bad little vice, probably. It's Australian made one. It's a Carter. Carter, Australian. Or Carter Australia, it says. Just that we only put Ost on one side and Aurelia on the other side, which is a bit strange. It's a 6-inch Carter. So... Look, they could be screwed in too. There's every chance of it. Because if you have a look, there's a dot there on each one, which looks like it could be where the holes come through. I don't know. They could be just cast in. Anyway, probably my wood's not straight. It's very true. It won't be as bent as some, but anyway. It wasn't very expensive vice. And to be honest, they might just unscrew. I haven't really looked that hard. If they did unscrew, well, we'd just make some new ones and put in them and fix it. Anyway, that's where we're at. We've bought a shelf unit upstairs for 3D printing filament, and we're busily making filament holders spool holders to put them all on. So the printer's going pretty well constant up there. Actually found the battery and the battery charger for the Land Rover concurrent, which was one of those things that hasn't happened for weeks. Every time I find one of them, I can't remember where I put the other. So I found them pretty much at the same time on Sunday. So I charged the battery and we had to run with the Land Rover all over the yard and didn't manage to break anything. So we're really good with that. Bill says tolerance is about 5mm. Yeah, probably. So we'll get that done and that's good. The library's absolute chaos, like absolute chaos. I've got a few shelves and I've got most of them sort of half sorted out, but I really need to sit in there on a chair and go through piles and piles and piles of books and put them in some sort of order. So that's a bit of a job. Who wants to look at the library? We'll go upstairs and have a look at the library. Well, it's an hour up already, so you'll probably get sick of me. That's the Gazelle frame there, by the way. So give you some idea of the height compared to the other. Not sick yet. It will be by the time we finish here. So we're going upstairs. This is all stuff that is a mess. There's projects here. There's a wood lathe there. There's empty boxes here everywhere. We might just close the bedroom door because we've got junk in there that we haven't unpacked yet and it's a bit awful. The stairs are doing me sick yet. Geez Louise, okay. Every now and again I get in here and I spend some time. Bill's half vaccinated, he's set. A lot of this stuff is just, we've got some trains on the window and other places. We've got novels and things there. We've got books here. We've got piles of books here piles of horological journal, watchmaking books and manuals, lathe manuals, clock manuals. Some fairly interesting titles there if you care to have a look. There's a Jake's portable track crane manual. There's magazines of all sorts and descriptions and books. And that up there behind that cupboard is all magazines. So we're working on that too. But there you go. We've got the stuff near my feet. I was looking for the VFD manual, so I've spent some time sorting this out. It's on the floor, yeah. Until I get some shelves, it's going to be on the floor. So we're working on it. A gas engine magazine there. Model engineer, a lot of them. A lot of older books, a lot of technical books. Book there on the watchmaker staking tool. A lot of drawings, a lot of plans, a lot of stuff. So Rustinex has probably got the right idea. Let's fix the problem, isn't it, really? So there we go. That's it. Now, I'm not even going to show you the living room because it's an absolute mass of spare cables and things I'm trying to sort out and work out what they belong to and throw out. So that's what I'm at with it. There we go. This is atrocious actually. At the moment, we're getting there, but it's slow. This is my coat hanger. Still works. It's awesome. Challenge from Rustinox a little while back. It's time someone else did one. It's good fun. Not really enthusiastic. So there we go. All sorts of great book on the front, metal steam engines to make and build. Yes, there's several in that series. Very, very good. Anyway, I haven't hung my bag on it because it's still downstairs, but it does get used pretty regularly. What else have we got? We got Nikon Nikomat. We've got an F there, and we've got F3, and we've got N90. So whether I'm keeping them, I think I probably am. I'm not sure about that. We'll see how we go. I will be keeping that one there. This is probably worth more money than I really need to hang on to. And this one too. So we'll see how we go. Step over some of these cables on the floor. We've got new rack there for the 3D printer filament, which is excellent. Really like that. We've got a window there. We've got a vintage Great Dorset Steam Fair poster up there. We've had some issues with the 3D printer. We're still putting boxes of stuff away and emptying. Every time there's a clear space now, I empty another box to put it away. So there's stuff here everywhere. Sorry. 3D printer had noise issues downstairs, so we found a stone paver and some noise suppression pads, and it seems to have fixed it. But anyway. Printer's awesome. Get a Prusa if you're going to buy a printer. Get one because it just keeps going. Now this space here, right? When I work through all this crap, and most of it is crap, right? There's a box of floppy disks. Don't even ask about them, but I really need to sit down with the floppy disk drive and go through them and see which ones I'm going to toss out. Put the rest on a thumb drive. There's a Samsung LaserJet printer, or laser printer. I'm probably going to toss that. This is just stuff that came out of a box the other day and I'm working through slowly. This space here is probably going to be a drafting table at some point. We're going to put a drafting table here and do some old-fashioned drawing, I think. It'd be very useful for sign writing patterns and things anyway, if nothing else. So that's probably what's going to go there. Apart from that, we've got film processing tanks sitting around everywhere. We've got artwork that still needs to be put up. We've got things like a BHI technical grade manual there that I don't know what to do about it. Got boxes full of electronic stuff that needs to be tossed. Like seriously, radio control stuff, all that. So there we go. That's where we're going. And we've got empty boxes here everywhere because they're slowly starting to get emptied. Anyway, that's the workshop. That's where we're at. Really want to run a photo rail or a French cleat rail along this wall here as long as I possibly can. So we're still discussing this, and I'll hang some artwork on that, I think. Yeah, there's enough crap to say. This postage is expensive. I think I've burnt my ultrasonic machine out, which is over there. I think the heater's malfunctioned. I'm not happy about that. Mezzanine plus stairs for material storage. I'm really not that keen. All I really want to do is get everything put away and toss the rest. But there we go. That's where we're at. Anyway, we'll see how we go. I'm probably nearly out of here because I've still got to program the gate motor and find some dinner. But huge thanks, guys, for tuning in. Thanks to all my new subscribers. Really appreciate that. You might have to make some videos at some point. Take care, Dan. Don't work all night. That's not fun. And yeah, be kind to each other, and we'll see how we go with it. But I have the GoPro is down there on the bench somewhere, so I have actually shot some movies at some point this last week. Anyway, I'm out. And huge thanks, people. Good to see you.